Hold up. Is it 6? Season 6?
It is.
6?
It is season 6. We have lasted.
Damn. So that's 5 times 13, 65, plus that one episode.
Yes.
We've done 66 of these.
It's quite a feat actually.
It is.
We've cartwheeled through days to actually make ourselves available here, racked our brains as to what we have to talk about. We've had Santosh, Leena and Gautam suggest many things, saying, okay, I'm sending you a link. Sometimes standing back and saying, have you figured this out? Because we have a plan if you haven't. But I think all 66 could not have been done without the team around us, including these amazing mics.
Yes, of course. So, hello and welcome to the Voiro podcast, season 6, episode 1. With me, as always, founder and CEO, Kavita, Shenoy. How are you on this fine Friday morning in February? And someone is already here.
We've moved remote as a company,
Yes.
fully remote, because we realized that 5 people rattling around in a 50-seater office is far worse than you just getting on with your day at 9:30, having woken up at 9:20 in the morning. And so we're sitting in another shared working space where we booked a space for our podcast. So a lot of people ask us, where do you record your podcast? And earlier we say, it's in our office. And now, sadly, with a heavy heart, like you know that I'm a very big office person, not in our office, but we live in times when you really don't need an office. And this place is fantastic. This is the first time I've come to this particular WeWork. And I love it.
I like it. I like it. It's bright.
Yep.
It's nice. And I think the move to remote work and remote podcasting is also now, it's all about positioning.
Yeah.
For me, this is now a traveling circus.
Yes.
That's it.
Absolutely.
We'll record from the beach.
Yes. I think next time we come here, we just put some branding out onto the window. So we can use this as...
yeah, of course.
Yeah. Use this as some...
People should spot us in the wild.
Correct. Just like Gemini Circus or any other circus, right? Just like, oh, there's a tent up.
Yeah.
They're in town.
Fantastic. So we are 1 month into 2024, which many people said is the new 2021. And before we get into what's going on in our industry, I'm curious to know what you are watching these days.
I am watching Death Among Deaths on, I think, Death and Other Deaths, sorry.
Okay.
On Hotstar. It's got that guy who's in, who's Saul in... What's the show?
Breaking Bad.
Not Breaking Bad. The other one about the guy who comes back.
Yeah. No. The Homeland.
Yeah, Homeland. Right?
Homeland.
Cries. Yeah. She constantly cries
Saul
in that
Berenson.
show. Yes. So it's a slow-moving whodunit kind of a series. It's a series. So yeah, that's what I'm watching. What are you watching?
I like single season series or mini series.
Yeah.
Web series. They're kind of nice. I am watching 3 things. I just finished Killer Soup.
Yeah, you were saying last time.
On Netflix, which is nice. It's real, it's dark, but it's got Manoj Bajpayee and Konkona Sen, who I really like.
Yep.
I'm doing the rounds with all the stand-up specials on Netflix that I missed over the last few months. They have gotten even more politically incorrect. I thought they would move in the other direction, but nope.
Elections around the corner, man. It's open season.
Yeah. And I'm watching something that I had earmarked like 2 years ago. I never watched it, which is the Taylor Swift documentary, Miss Americana. Given everything she did last year, I just went back and realized that I have to watch it.
Are you Taylor Swift for president as well? Are you on that camp?
I'm not Taylor Swift for president, but I actually like her music. I like the new album she cut and what she did with the label where she launched her own versions of all of her own songs. But oddly, so I play poker with a group of friends every couple of weeks, and there is a friend of mine, Rashid, who we play poker and there's music playing in the background. If Taylor Swift is playing, he wins the hand. And he just becomes braver and he goes for it. I'm trying to figure out what this is all about, but
it's his hype song. Man.
Yeah, it totally is.
She's his hype girl.
Totally is.
Yeah, that's great.
The first thing I wanted to jam about is maybe indirectly connected to our industry, but this week the Vision Pro was in the hands of everyone who had pre-ordered. I initially heard that there was an embargo on reviewing, but everybody seems to be reviewing it. So I don't know what that's about.
And these people are the press, or are they regular
No, they are anyone who pre-ordered. People who paid and pre-ordered.
So people who paid how much? $3,500?
$3,500 plus.
Oh, okay.
Because there's the base version for $3,500. Then there's the 1 terabyte version for $4,000. Because you really want to like download content and take it with you.
Yeah.
I have not yet seen photos of people on an airplane
with their Vision Pro.
With their Vision Pros on. But there's that. Then, of course, there are the other accoutrements. There's a case for $200, a really soft case that's almost like a pillow. There is Zeiss has made lenses for people who have prescription glasses. It's really cool. You clip it on, it's magnetic, and then there's a QR code you scan which knows your prescription, and so it adjusts. It's super cool.
Nice.
And that's $100 or $200 if you have prescription lenses. So I think it could rack up about $5,000. So the group of people who have pre-ordered are people who can do that. But I watched some reviews and I thought it was pretty wild, and I wanted to take our imagination for a spin. So first of all, Apple has insisted that it's not AR, it's not VR, it's spatial computing.
Oh my God.
So they are trying really hard to kill any narrative that calls this VR or AR.
Yeah, because it kind of, I think it kind of dumbs it down or makes it cheaper than it is, right? In terms of the experience.
Yeah.
And people think that it's not that great.
Yeah.
But actually,
and I also think they want to stand apart from anyone who has built AR or VR glasses in the past. But the reviews I saw are pretty wild. It is one of the newest things that has come out in a while. What I'm most excited about is the content experience. So, Apple Plus and Disney Plus come pre-installed, but Netflix and YouTube have not created apps. So you have to actually open Safari and open Netflix or open YouTube. And it's almost like watching it on an iPad, but it's kind of sitting in three-dimensional space in front of you.
Oh, so it's not 360.
No, but the two native apps, which Disney Plus and Apple Plus. And remember last year we talked about the fact that maybe Disney is setting themselves up to be bought by Apple. They are one of the apps that's pre-approved and available. They are extraordinary because the content experience truly kind of wraps itself around you.
Yeah.
They've also created environments for you to sort of immerse yourself in, where you can basically experience walking on the moon, for example, or you can experience content in a way that is extremely immersive. So I watched, for example, an Alicia Keys music video where midway through the video she actually walks up to you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's super cool. Like, I'd like to try that. There's actually another thing which was pretty interesting. So they have Keynote, which is their version of PowerPoint, which of course you can make on your Mac and ship it to the Vision Pro, and it's all like seamlessly integrated as part of one ecosystem. But once your deck is ready, you can of course preview it like you're in a movie theater. But what you can also do is you can drop yourself on stage at the Steve Jobs Theater, have the presentation behind you, and rehearse it in front of an audience full of people.
Wow.
Yeah. I thought that was also interesting. The other thing is, you remember we got freaked out by the fact that they take a real-time image of your eyes and project it? That's actually not the case. You can't see it from the outside.
Okay.
So you can see some flavor of it, but it's not as weird as we thought we had seen in the promos. It's not. Because when you're watching content, you can see from the outside the blue. And if you move your eyes and pay attention to people on the outside, one eye kind of shows up through the thing, which is weird, but it's still not a complete eye. So it's not as bad. I wanted to take our imagination for a walk around how you think this would impact advertising. Because there's one school of thought which is, why didn't Netflix and YouTube make their apps for this? Maybe you think it's not going to be as widespread or ubiquitous a platform. Maybe they don't like Apple because Apple's kind of at war with developers today. But I think spatial computing or AR is going to become a lot more widespread than it is today, right? So I was wondering what you think ads are going to be like.
So one of the things that I remember I took the kids to the US a year ago or something, and then we went to Universal Studios and we did the rounds of all the theme parks, and 30% of those theme parks were all AR VR. They were not actual roller coasters. They were not actual. You sit in a space. There would be like a 4D kind of thing where you would experience stuff. You would see things around you. They would immerse you in alternate reality, augmented reality, right? Not alternate, augmented reality, and it would be a stationary object at the end of the day. So I feel from an entertainment perspective, and where Disney also could go with this, sky's the limit, including where Universal is going with this in terms of how do you entertain people and how do you take them out of their current reality and put them in a space with very little friction. Today, I have to travel to a physical location. These are expensive, pieces of equipment that they put up in terms of staging all of this virtual reality and augmented reality. There's a lot of software that goes into managing and maintaining it. There are people and there are actual physical bodies that are there that you need to take care of, right? You can like stumble in the dark and fall, and that's a lot to take care of even from a business perspective. Today, I feel like you can actually create bubbles of entertainment of this kind in various places. And we used to see it earlier in Smash. Remember Smash?
Of course, yeah.
Right, where you could like design your own roller coaster and sit there and do stuff.
Oh man, I'd forgotten about
Yeah. So that is similar to that. You could do many things, and I think the business of entertainment and bringing entertainment to people at a lower cost, even though this piece of equipment is expensive, it's the start of an entire generation of these kinds of headsets, right? And so there will be a lot more that comes out from it. So naturally, content creation will follow suit, and it's of no coincidence that where AI is being used in a very big way is in content generation, right? And so today, if I want to create something for spatial computing, right? You require your software also to understand the largeness of it, and you don't need specific skill sets. You will have AI to be able to generate it. So for me to give my user, my consumer a brand experience within this space, I think one will be easy, right? And the second, it will be very immersive and not intrusive.
I agree. Yeah.
Right? So today you get influenced by walking down, a street, and you see maybe, an ad that's playing on the side of within a store, right? Or you see a flyer, or you're walking past a mall and you see mannequins of some kind of clothing, or you see somebody else wearing something that's branded and you're wondering where they got it from, right? And you look for the logo because they look so good with it. So I think those kinds of things will be things that we will use in these, I want to call it metaverse or whatever this universe is. But today, if I'm putting myself in an Alicia Keys concert, if I look to my right, I could see Gautam wearing something nice. He may be wearing something from Rare Rabbit, or I could look to my left and see Lena hanging out there wearing a cool pair of shoes that, could be from, I don't know, Gucci, wherever, right? So because that's how human beings discover things in real life. So why not virtually as well? So I think that's where even influencers, therefore, will start creating avatars of themselves, right? Maybe my avatar will get invited to this concert that, is being played by Alicia Keys, and I get paid for it because remember we used to have this concept of gym dolls, right? People, when there were gyms that were opening up in Bangalore, they would call all the fittest people in Bangalore and they would look really cool and make them work out in these gyms so that when you go there, you're like, people here are fit, right? So even I'm going to get fit here. So
I would know this, given I'm such a gym rat, as you all know.
Yeah. So I'm saying that, and today influencers are already around the corner, right? Everybody is an influencer. And you can, today, if I have a caricature of an influencer I follow, I'd know them. 10 years ago, those people were nobody, right? But because they're in my face today all the time, I know them. Today, I make a caricature of you, I know, right? Your voice, the way you dress, your facial expressions, what you talk about, etc. It's a personality, and that's basically what an avatar is. So I don't have to physically go anywhere. I can create that avatar, right? And with distributed ledger and AI and big data and computing and multiple wallets and whatever else, I get paid for it. I make my appearance, right? I have a Kim Kardashian avatar hanging out next to me, and that's been paid for. And she'll probably be standing on stage along with Alicia Keys. Or if I get a backstage pass, they're all there too.
Oh, I like it.
Right? So it's sky is the limit in the way this environment can actually sort of draw you in. I'm damn excited about it.
I like it. I think the future is bright for this. I mean, I consider this the equivalent of when the mobile phone was like this giant cordless device, right?
Yeah.
It will get smaller. It will get lighter. It will get less in your face. Because right now, that someone's wearing a Vision Pro.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for Google Glass, which was actually the lightest version of this. But I'm guessing these will blend in a manner that's not as heavy to carry around. Put privacy aside for a second, but I love what you said about the fact that it's not intrusive. It is as close to what happens in the real world in terms of how we interact with brands.
Yep.
I also think that these devices are going to take context up a notch, because it has so many sensors. It's got cameras and LiDAR and this and that.
What's a LiDAR?
It uses light
Oh.
to detect objects around you. Because the way you use the Vision Pro
It's
is
like a light radar?
I believe so.
Okay.
I'm gonna not
LiDAR.
reveal the lack of knowledge that I have. But a lot of how it works depends on how you're able to use your eyes, right?
Oh,
'Cause
where
you
you're
don't-
focusing.
So if, let's say I want to click on this.
Yeah.
I don't click here, right?
You
I
look
just
there.
look and click. So it can detect the fact that I'm doing this with my fingers, which
Yeah.
means it's very sensitive to everything around it. From a monetization and brand perspective, it probably knows every brand that's right now in my vicinity already, which I think is great for context. And like I said, you put the privacy stuff aside. If you know that I am currently consuming a burger without a drink, nothing stops you from literally putting a thing there that says buy right now and have it delivered. I mean, there's many ways to go about it, but I think it's going to take context up several notches, which is fun.
The human, a very human thing for people to do is I want what somebody else has, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it looks so great on them, and I think it'll look great on me, or it looks delicious and I want to order it. I mean, it looks like I think I want to eat that, or that person's kid has it, so I think my child should do too. So, given that, populating this environment with these suggestions, not just without people but with actual people, would probably be also the way social networking would move, right? Could move to that direction. The only thing is that I don't know how many servers are going to be burning down trying to get this across. The other thing that you said about Vision Pro being on people's faces, etc., I think it'll probably become de rigueur, right? Got them sitting here with like headphones. If you're sitting here with headphones, generally also I wouldn't really think anything of it. I'll just think that he's listening to some music, and if I wave to him, he'll talk to me. I wouldn't think it's rude.
Yeah, but in the 70s, you would have probably said, "What's that on your
What's
head?"
it? Why? What's on his head? Right? Why is he doing this? Or today, when people like who have slightly longer hair, who like wear earphones and they're talking, it looks like they're talking to themselves. They look completely nuts.
I mean, the first human being with a Neuralink chip in their brain has gone live
Really?
last week. Yeah, Elon Musk
and
announced.
it wasn't me.
Elon Musk announced.
I would have
and
totally
he said
put
they are
myself up.
recovering from the surgery, and we are seeing spikes in its ability to detect neural activity. So it's positive. So this has happened already.
Amazing. I've always said if there's anything that I can put under my skin and I could just like make sure that I have my calendar in my brain,
You
I
need
do
to
it.
contact your friend Elon.
Yeah.
Get in front of that line. Speaking of things that other people have that we want, Netflix has gone and acquired WWE rights.
All I'm thinking of right now is Hulk Hogan jumping on that thing from the sidelines and like bouncing off on the stage.
So this is what, in 2 years, the second time the Netflix has done something that everybody thought they would never do, or maybe they said they would never do, or maybe they never said it and everybody assumed. They did say that they would not go down the advertising route, and they've done it, and it's done well for them.
Yeah.
They purportedly were never going to pick up live sport because it's so expensive and it's not their game, and they have done it. Now, you could argue that WWE is not a sport, and many people will kill me for saying this, but it's live entertainment. It's scripted, but it's athletic. But Ben Thompson from Stratechery was talking about how it is a huge move. The fact that they are making this investment, they've spent a little over $5 billion for a 10-year deal to be the exclusive home of WWE RAW. And it basically points to the fact that in this phase of our industry which we are in, where we're at the tipping point in many parameters between linear and data-driven points of consumer touch points, this basically points to the fact that athletic events, which have always been the best friend of cable and pay-per-view, is also moving in this direction. So do you think this is a sign that Netflix is going to go deeper into live sport and entertainment?
So I think Netflix is a classic case of doing it their way, right? They are saying no to doing advertising the way advertising was generally done. Like, we don't have advertising in India. I don't think we will anytime soon. They're very happy with the subscription layer. They don't believe that advertising where they want advertising to be will be something that can actually give them anything that is phenomenally greater, right? So the 12 countries in which advertising has been launched, it's telling to say that it's in a place where people have purchasing power, where advertisers will get to people who can purchase whatever they're being advertised.
You don't want our CPMs. No.
They don't want our CPMs, man. Our CPMs are like, it's a lot left, leaves a lot to be desired at this point. So yeah, so effort versus impact, right? Look at WWE. When you look at it, it's not a lumpy revenue stream, unlike say an IPL, Wimbledon, or even Olympics also may not be in this category, but say any of our cricket events, which is like tentpole, massive, lots of people, crazy amounts of money, exhausted sales teams, you like drain advertiser budgets, and then the next month is like you're flatlining, you're almost like dying and gasping for breath, right? They have smartly chosen live sport, but something that is consistent over the year.
That's interesting. Yeah.
And it's a weekly programming thing. So they're keeping their engagement on, right? So if I as an advertiser want to spread my reach and frequency, I can actually do it. I'm not parking all my cash and then
So it's
saying,
like it's got the best of both worlds. then. Yeah.
exactly. So see, that is where I feel like Netflix is being clever about this,
Yeah.
right? They're saying, yes, no, I'm not going to do advertising the way you are doing it. I'll do it my way. I'm not going to do live sports the way you are doing it. I'll do it my way.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
So they still are the leaders of the streaming war. They have still won it. They're still holding the crown. They're not going to lose it. They're not going to be those guys who are going to be, they've learned from everybody else. I don't know why other people are not learning from this, but they have definitely.
So this doesn't mean that they're going to go after like Super Bowl or the IPL.
They'll
They're
say,
gonna-
keep Super Bowl. You keep your lumpy revenue. You do. When Super Bowl is going on, I will probably have a reality show of the football guys behind the scenes. People will come here and watch for the rest of the year how they train for Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Right? So it would, I think, like I said, they're clever and kudos to them. And this is the way you win the streaming wars. Our studios and the guys who are the older generation,
Yeah.
the legacy, the generation have to learn from this. They have to pick up a leaf out of this and learn.
Chris Cornell had a famous song about James Bond. I forget. It's from You Know My Name was the name of the song. I forget which James Bond movie it's from. But he said, when you think you... Sorry, which one is it? Quantum of Solace. There you go. But I still remember there's a line in there that says, just when you think you've won, he changes the game that we've been playing.
Yeah.
That's it. I think that's Netflix.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Just when everybody else thinks they're winning.
Yeah. They're like, oh, you've reached the top now. Now let's watch us catch up with you. They're like, sorry.
Yeah.
New game, new rules.
Yeah. Shifting gears for a second. We were at ATS Singapore last year, and we are very excited about all our events for this year. Interestingly enough, ExchangeWire has just released the 3 big themes for ATS Singapore this year, even though it's a little later in the year. The first one is post-cookie technology, where they're basically saying this is the pivotal year, not just in general, but also on the back of what Google has done in Jan, where they've actually pulled the trigger on deprecating third-party cookies and are basically calling for the industry to develop new technologies that fill this void, and the fact that innovation will be essential. Sustainability, which I'm actually personally very invested in, because I know people have talked about it. I know we've talked about it on this podcast from the perspective of, it's cool, but when you put $1 on the line, will anybody really care? But I think it is time that the industry steps up and starts being a lot more sustainable. I'm excited about companies like Scope 3 and Good Loop and various technologies that are trying to solve this problem, because you cannot depend on the goodness of people's heart when there is a budget and a P&L on the line. So there has to be a technology that makes this the more sustainable option, truly. And the third one is, of course, gaming. In light of gaming becoming a form of global entertainment, and the fact that, according to the sort of wire from ExchangeWire, gaming has an expansive and very varied audience, that it is also going to be a big trend for this year. Do you agree with these 3 trends? Do you think they've missed anything? Are you excited about all 3?
I think that they're very top of mind, like you said, right? Post-cookie, I'm not sure what is going to happen, but I feel like nobody's taking it very seriously. Or maybe they're not talking about how seriously they're taking it. Or they're just saying, we'll cross that bridge when it finally when we come to it, or we'll probably band together. At that point in time, I have more important things to do. But I'm looking forward to understanding how people are going to be looking at sharing data, because it's going to come back to it. They're going to find a loop. They're going to find a way to share data. Maybe data clean rooms will again get a new lease of life. Maybe data clean rooms with distributed ledgers and making sure that your audiences are hashed and all of that will again, kind of see a new lease of life, because it becomes more topical, right? But it is still something that is very difficult and complicated, I feel. I don't know, maybe this is my misinformation, to implement continuously, right? And people need to get a hang of it. I don't know what we can akin this to. I remember when CDPs came along and they had lookalike audiences and creating affinity-based audiences and stuff like that. There was a lot of projects failed at that point in time because people didn't have enough data to match against their data set, right? So creating audiences when you don't have audiences in itself, it becomes a problem. And I think it's topical, but I don't know what the solution is. But in line with both AI that's happening right now, as well as this post-cookie thing, I feel like we're burning down servers, 100%. Every time somebody queries something on ChatGPT just to satisfy some curiosity, we have burnt half the Amazon rainforest at some point, right? Theoretically. So I feel there'll be some policy. There will be some restrictions on how we use it and we pay for it, so that there's something that we can do in return to be able to replace those trees that we are burning down in terms of sustainability. But I think sustainability will, and already has, become a very, very topic of conversation is a mainstay topic of conversation. It's become drawing room conversation.
It has.
It is not no longer saying that that's not for us. It's only for first world countries. It's only for those other Fortune 500 countries. I think everybody individually is also looking at how they are contributing to the sustainability, the unsustainability of what they are doing, right? So I think it's good. Also don't know what the outcome is. I still think that it's going to be the age of sustainability, the age of post-cookie, and how you talk about the age of mobile. Gaming. I love it, right? I just love the concept of gaming in general, because from a larger canvas, accessing information, accessing data, learning, education, etc., can all be, for the want of a better word, gamified. And coupled with the fact that we have spatial computing, AR, VR, and everything else, I feel like we can actually take, and we have AI, right? We can take a lot of these things in a more gamified manner. If you look at the way Montessori is, they gamify learning, right? So if you extrapolate that into the fundamentals of first principles of theory of gaming, it can be beautiful, right? For the whole race. It's not just people sitting dumbly on a sofa and playing some game where they are first shooters and they are killing people. You can teach people strategy, language. You can open their minds up. You can teach them new languages. You can teach them new ways of thinking, feeling better. So many things. I think gaming has a good and bad side to it, like everything else, but it's huge. It's huge, and it should not be in a myopic, blinkered way of, I'm going to have esports and I'm going to have car games and I'm going to replicate F1.
Much broader.
It's much broader, right, as a concept. So, yeah.
Fantastic. Coming to a new segment that we started doing at the end of last season, which is the Voiro Corner.
Yes. So,
what are we talking about?
So, over the last quarter, you've been working very hard on our AI charter, right? And we said all along, we have always had these internal struggles about the difference between automation and AI, machine learning and AI, the interchangeability or the existence of existence of AI at all. And we've been very careful not to introduce AI into Voiro as a gimmick, right? And so we've stayed away from it till we actually are trying to find a really good fit in giving our customers 10x value, right? So where is your mind around it? What do you think Voiro is doing right now in the AI space, and what should we be doing?
The reason we've been looking into an AI charter is twofold. At the start of this year, coincidentally, Jeff Green from the Trade Desk wrote a blog post where he said, advertising is changing forever again. And I think the same sentiment affects all of us, given the fact that we are at the cusp of this technology, right? So the two reasons for me are as follows. The first one is, we at Voiro, over the last 3 or 4 months, we've been asking all of our colleagues a question, which is, are you today a better version of yourself when compared to 2 months ago? And historically, this would have been, here's what I read, and here's L&D, and here's what we do, and here's my upskilling. And we realized that if you follow the AI industry, there is tooling that can make everybody today a 10x version of themselves. And I think this is going to be table stakes no matter where people go in their careers. In fact, what we've started doing is we have a little AI corner in the office. We have folks jamming about AI tools, not just from the perspective of foundational technology or what we can do in the industry, but from the perspective of, can I make myself better? And we've discovered tools in the last 2 months that we've actually started using today in our day-to-day work that makes us faster, makes us better, helps us have a better relationship with knowledge. And more than anything else, it's like being in a toy store. It's just so much fun. So we've been pushing ourselves within the team every week. Now, if I apply this to our relationship with the industry, our customers, our users, I think we are in a very privileged position because of the way in which our product is used. For Voiro users, we are heavily dependent upon for our users to run their lives. So they spend so much time, which means if they are trying to 10x or 50x or 100x themselves, it has to begin with us. Now, what we've realized is the generative AI stack for enterprises is today at a place where it is extremely powerful, but is also taking into account the safety and security that it needs to make sure that our customers' data is protected, which means in a safe environment, we can give our customers and users the ability to reimagine their lives because the playing field is getting leveled in front of us. We have a workflow angle to our product. There is room to automate it, which helps our customers drive their business higher. There is a large volume of data that we expose to our users so that they can interact with the data that drives their own business, be curious, ask questions, find new opportunities. That barrier is being broken down because in order to have a relationship with data, you don't need a report, you don't need a dashboard, you don't need to have data skills. You can have curiosity and allow technology to do the remaining. This is being reimagined right now, and what we're trying to do is acknowledge that it's dynamic, where we are discovering and making assumptions every week that are getting quashed or are getting sort of reinforced. We've had to reimagine our own playing field every week, and we've gotten comfortable with not knowing. There was a time when, you had to have a certain skill, you had to have certain familiarity with the stack. I think the tooling is also getting abstracted to a point where SDKs are now available and you don't need to know the underlying stack. You just need to be able to spot a very strong use case. And that's where we have our strengths, because we worked so closely with our customers and we worked with some of the best customers in the market and players in the field that we have a very deep understanding of the problem. And it turns out that's also a differentiator right now. So what we're trying to do is marry all of this, deeply care for our users, which has always been our DNA, but help them reimagine our life. And we started by doing it for ourselves. And I like where our team is right now compared to like 3 months ago and them compared to 3 months before that. So I think our AI charter is all about how can we get our customers to leapfrog the competition by using a new technology that nobody knows where it's going. And it's actually more than anything else, it's just fun.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that actually helps us here is that with most of our customers, we've been with them for the last better part of the decade. So their data is already organized.
Yeah.
So for a lot of people out there, their data is still not organized to be able to, for you to be able to leapfrog and use AI. They're all still talking about getting themselves on the cloud or organizing and indexing their data, creating data models to be able to understand the context of that data within their sector. All of that is already worked out for us.
Yeah.
So it's a very easy, it's not easy to do it, like you can't close your eyes and do it, but it is achievable in the near term for somebody like a Voiro to be able to give our customers the advantage of AI, right? So on that note, I hope everybody is trying every single AI tool they can, sort of make sure that they're asking the right questions. The people who will win the future are people who can actually ask the right questions, right? Not just find the right answers. And that's always been really hard to do. Thank you, Gautam. Thank you, Santosh. Thank you, Leena, for putting this entire episode together. Thank you, WeWork, for this beautiful room and the fact that we are well in the middle of our gig office era of Voiro. I hope it goes well for everybody else, and we all will see you all next week when we record again. Bye.
Thank you.